All right, so creating this video that are online, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about how this all relates to what our objective with this course is, the business of multimedia, and maybe how it ties in a little bit to a final project, but more than that. So on the screen here, if you can see that, if we look over here, I have professional sales versus retail sales. Last night on the message board, I typed up a little bit of a description there, but what's the difference between retail sales and professional sales? Hunter?
Professional sales is more like business to business, and retail is more like business to customer.
Okay. So pretty close. Yep, I mean, you're right. Here's the deal. If we're in business, I can open up my new store, and I'm excited about my storefront, and if I'm focused on retail sales, meaning someone's going to walk through this door and ask me for their help, that's great, but that's not how this whole thing is going to work, certainly if we're a startup. At some point, we're going to have to become professional salespeople, and we're going to have to pick up the phone, or I'm going to have to go to a lunch and learn, or I'm going to have to go to a networking thing and introduce myself and talk about what I can do to help build more connections. And essentially, that's professional sales. So, us as graphic designers, us as news or small business owners, we need to think a little bit more in professional sales. Retail sales matter, but that's why a lot of small businesses fail, because they simply open the doors and wait for someone to walk in. Okay? So we need to start thinking about who are we as professional salespeople. Our organization, we've done a great job this semester getting work. However, there's a ton of people out there that could use our help. So let's take the realm of let's be professional salespeople. In this case, we're going to work with the Ridgewater Wrestling program. And retail sales, a lot of times, relates to client projects. That's simply what we've pretty much been doing this semester, right? Somebody came to us, they said, hey, I understand you have this, because there's somebody that can do this project for us. They defined it. It might be Tammy Rolfe, it might be Nancy Hafner, it might have been David Pope, Kevin McAllister, on and on. Those were simply retail sales. They came to us, and we did what they asked. End of story. In our case, we would collect the money, and they would leave. We need more sales. So, if we think in the realm of professional sales, can we build some sort of ad campaign, a total package for people that we become their one-stop shop? We're the experts, and that every time they need a project, or they need help, or they need brand building, they come to us, and we become their marketing staff. When we start thinking like this, that's how you can actually grow a business, and maybe you start employing people. So, as I touch on that leads me into this. If we can, and sorry for those that are online, my penmanship is still poor but much improved. If we can transition from a service-based, that's essentially what we feel like we are, don't we? Service-based, we're making graphic designs, or we're coming up with social media campaigns. Service-based, but if we can transition that into a product-based, it's easier to sell. Customers start believing that, well, what product do you have? Well, I do these services, but they want to think tangibly about a product. So, yes, our work is still a service, graphic design, or social media, or multimedia is a service, but the product becomes our multimedia and design packages that we can then offer to the potential client. So if we start, and it doesn't have to be defined, oh, I don't fall into one of the three packages, obviously we can't do business together. No, it's not obvious. We can customize that, but when they can look at it and they go, well, I would like to sign up for this amount of service, 3 hours a month, or 10 hours a month, or so many posts per week, or a new ad campaign, or a new flyer, a new direct mailer that goes out every 3 months. That becomes product-based, even though with our services. That helps influence people to say, you know what, I now see what you have to offer. Because here's what I know, and this is over and over. Selling multimedia and design packages is always about solving someone else's problem. There's a lot of people out there that they don't know what they need. The customers don't know what they need. They just go, this morning I just talked to, anybody know who the artist Bonnie Moore is? It's so ironic is in advertising and promotions, I used her as an example for personal branding. Dakota, do you know who she is? What's her most famous painting? Anybody help me? She's got the tree.
Yeah, it's got that poem underneath of it, right?
I think it's about life or something
Yeah.
like that. Anyway, so she reaches out to me and she's simply this. She's an artist. She's made a living painting cows. But she knows that I need to do more, Derek. She said, I don't know what I need, but if your group could help, if you guys could come up with some creative ideas to help me grow my brand, boy, would I be happy to come in and listen to some new ideas. And that's where a lot of our clientele will be. We didn't really experience that in this semester because they go, I need the banner, I need this. But there's a lot of people that we can help by solving their problem and just providing solutions. So the wrestling team doesn't know what they need. They just know they need to do something, or otherwise they're going to continue to lose wrestlers or students to the competition. And they're going to go to Ridgewater, or they're going to go to Rochester or Worthington or Northland or somewhere else. So we need to be the ones, because we're creative people, to come up with some solutions to what their problem is. Their problem simply is, we need to build a brand, so we got to provide the solutions. And they don't know what they need. So if we can come up with ideas to address those issues, that's what we're tasked with. So some of you may be in this room, some of you definitely online have keep asking me, what's the color scheme and where's the creative brief? I know I commented to Janet, you're not going to get a creative brief because they don't know what they need. And so I'm not going to have them fill one out. We're going to develop that. We should build an ad campaign of offerings that we think are in the best interest of them as a client. Whether they choose to go with some of them, all of them, or none of them, I'm fine with. Because as we be a startup business and we're in the multimedia industry, oftentimes we have to do some work up front for free just to offer, to get our name out there, to build a little reputation, and then the work continues to flow. When I think big picture, it is what we can do with the wrestling team that can pretty easily be converted into a model or a package that can be offered to other organizations.